Hello, everyone. Welcome to one more podcast for the Athletic School. Today we have here my partner Gustavo Heidrich, and thanks for being here, Gustavo.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And then we also have a guest speaker, Rachael Adams. She plays volleyball. I came across with your profile on Instagram, and then uh, I love the work that you are doing with your journey strength, right? Is that right? Yeah. So I think we talk a little bit back and forth. So thanks for being here, Rachel.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much. I mean, to get started, you played so many different places. You played for the national team. You went to the Olympics. You're playing Brazil. You play in different countries. So my first question for you: what was the path look like for you to get there? It was a challenge. It was a surprise for you. How was it?
So honestly, to be where I am today is like a complete like surprise. So I accidentally found volleyball. I've told this story a lot when I do different talks, but so when I was going into high school, I was spending the night at one of my best friend's house, and she asked me if I wanted to sleep in or come with her to the incoming freshman volleyball camp. And I said, you know what, like, why not? Like, I'll go bring my summer reading books. So I went to the volleyball camp and asked the coach, like, if I could sit on the sideline and, read my summer reading book. And then 5 minutes later, they said, hey, like, do you want to give it a try? I was like, sure, I guess, So I jumped in, and I was horrible. I was tragic, but I just loved, like, the things I was learning. And I came back the next day, and I kept coming back. And so that's how I found volleyball. It was a complete accident. I thought I was going to be playing basketball. And then every step of the way was just me trying to get better, and like my love for the game, about like getting into the gym and be like, okay, well, how can I get better today? How can I get better today? And that allowed me to get better at like a fast pace. And one thing led to another. Then I'm going to college and Olympics, and I'm playing in all these different countries. So it's honestly crazy. Like, I wonder what life would be like if I decided to sleep in and, not bring my book to that camp. So yeah, that's how I'm here today.
And that's very cool that she said that she didn't sleep in, and then she got like so many opportunities, because we have a thing that we don't like lazy people. And then you just said like kind of the opposite. You didn't sleep in, you went after, and that's very cool.
Exactly.
And playing in so many high levels in different places, what are some of the challenges that you faced, that you had struggle with?
Yeah, I mean, the first struggle I had, college volleyball in the USA is definitely different than being a professional. First of all, you're getting paid to play volleyball. Every country, every club is different from what they offer, how the strength staff is. Every club has their strengths and weaknesses, and you don't know kind of what you're getting into, especially when you're just out of college and you're going to like one of a lower team in Poland. So I was like, I have no idea what to expect. And so like the first thing I had to learn was focus on what I can control. When I got there, different cultures had different ways of playing and like attitudes and how they reacted to the sport, and frustrations differently. Americans gonna react differently than Polish people, and Brazilians are very passionate. Like everyone is so different. So I had to learn to just focus on what I can control. I can't control people's attitudes. I can't control on our weight program. I can't control, the training at practice, what our layout, what we're doing. And so I had to really just like, okay, I can focus on how I show up each day. I can focus on, my effort every single play. And I can focus on like how I prepare and how I adapt in my reaction to everything. And then another thing I had to learn was just to get out of my comfort zone with like languages and, trying something new and, like I said, trying different languages. And then the other one was just like really learning my body, in college, you kind of have like, everyone's like telling you what to do, like, okay, foam roll, okay, we're going to do this, okay, we're going to do that. And then when you're a professional athlete, like you're on your own, you have to like learn your body and how it works and really take care of it. Because if you want to play long, you have to take care of your body.
So just one thing that when you said in the beginning, like to do what you can control, do you have an experience where the practice like wasn't the best, you didn't think it was good enough for you, and how do you keep like motivated to like keep working hard?
Yeah, so I remember one season, every coach is different, and our coach was more not hands-on on like telling us what to do, but more controlling practice. And with the national team, we're more used to, a lot of feedback like on our technique and stuff like that. So when I wasn't receiving like feedback, like what am I doing wrong? I was getting really frustrated. And I was like, okay, I can't control what the coach is gonna tell me. I can't control his feedback. So why am I getting frustrated? So like, what can I control? Like, okay, what can I do? Okay, so maybe I can ask a teammate like, hey, when I attack, can you watch me, or give me some feedback in that, or watch film from practice or the game so I can like give myself feedback, or just be more aware of kind of like what I'm doing, like, okay, if I do this and this happens, and just be my own coach in that area. So instead of getting frustrated, choose what I can control.
And you mentioned some of the things that we always try to tell people about it, like getting out of the comfort zone, and controlling what you can. So how did you create that awareness? Like, is it something that you learned? Is it something that you read in a book? Your parents told you? Like, how did you learn that?
I was first introduced to like comfort zone with the USA national team. We had a concept that was like, get comfortable being uncomfortable. So getting comfortable, basically never being comfortable. Like, we're always going to be learning something. We're always going to be making mistakes. We're always going to be trying something new. And instead of like trying to fight that, like get comfortable sitting in that space of making mistakes and failing at things and learning from your failure. And one of their concepts was like, fail fast. We're going to fail. Like, when you learn something, you have to fail. So how fast can you fail to learn that thing that you need to do so you can succeed? So like, the faster you fail, the faster you learn what you have to do.
That's the book that you were reading, right?
Yeah,
Fail
yeah.
Big.
Yeah, I just read a book. It's called Fail Big, and it talks
Okay.
about the difference, the importance of failing, and like you said, it's failing fast, because you're gonna fail. Like, doesn't matter, like, if you believe or not, like, you're gonna fail sometime.
Yeah, you're gonna fail.
So you should fail as fast as you can, so then you can learn and then succeed. And how failure is something that it just it means whatever we want that the action, that thing to means, so like, it depends on how you see failure, so I think that's I love when you said that, because I think that's a big thing. And especially for us as athletes, we are failing like every practice, every day we are doing like a mistake, and then it's important for us to have that mindset.
And that's nice from volleyball, because like we have like every time we have a point and one team is gonna take the point, so you're not gonna get every single point of
yeah, it's inevitable. Yeah.
All of those things that you mentioned are something that we can bring to our personal lives, like getting uncomfortable and stuff like that. But for people that are listening to us, what are some advices, or what are some of the lessons that you take from volleyball and you use in your personal life?
Gosh, I mean, there's so many. I mean, even as I started business, like getting on Instagram, like that's uncomfortable. Like showing up in video, that's uncomfortable. But the more you show up, like you said, the more you're going to fail and learn, like, okay, that didn't work. Okay, that worked. Like, the more I avoid failure, like nothing happens, you know, like you just stay in place and you don't get better. And so I'm just like embracing being uncomfortable and trying to get better. And also just like, you know, I'm trying new stuff. And so I have to be aware of like my self-talk and my thoughts, and knowing like being aware of like the beliefs I have around like the things that I'm trying to create. Like, am I telling myself that I can, or I'm not capable, or like I look stupid doing this, or who am I to do this? So I really carried that, like being aware of my self-talk into like, you know, when I go for stuff, and just my beliefs of when I go for goals.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And I follow your other pages on Instagram, and I see a lot of the posts that you make there. So my next question is how, like what does being confident means to you? And how can someone be more confident?
Mm-hmm. So I actually, like, that was such a good question when you asked me, because like I've had my definition of confidence, but I did really get clear with like what I wanted to share with you and like break it down. And it was like, for me, it's like how firmly athletes believe in their ability to execute a physical skill or perform a task. So, and then also, you know, how when like challenges come up and, you know, they're presented with something that is new and different, like their ability to trust, like, okay, I can figure this out. And that more that like growth mindset. And ways that athletes can get confidence, and like how I built my own confidence is one, like be aware of your negative self-talk, because that's going to be, you're always in your head. So if that's like the negative voice that you carry with you on and off the court, like you're never going to have confidence if you're always like saying like, I suck, I can't do this, like, no. And then like celebrating your little victories along the way. That's a big thing for me, is like focusing on progress over perfection, and just being aware of like the good things you're doing and the little steps that you're making. And what else did I say? I mean, it's knowing that like you're gonna make, like we said, make mistakes, make failures, and embrace it. Like it's like your relationship with it. Like, what is your relationship with failure? What is your relationship with making mistakes? Do you embrace it, or do you think it's like something bad? And then what, I wrote one more thing down that I didn't want to forget. And then focusing on what like you can control. So if you're constantly focusing on what you can't, like you're never going to feel confidence in your abilities. You know, you're always going to feel like it's outside of your control, and that it has nothing to kind of do with you. And those are like my kind of big pillars on how I think people can like improve their confidence and like the foundation of it.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how mindset it's able to help us succeed, right? There's this Brazilian author, his name is Nuno Cobra, and he talks about how our brain is dumb and doesn't know what is right or what is wrong. So like you're mentioning about negative self-talk, you know, so if you tell yourself that you are a bad player, you know, if you're doing stuff wrong, like your brain is believing whatever you tell your brain, you know. So being aware of like what you are telling yourself, that's a big piece for you to improve as a player, as a human being, you know. So
100%.
yeah, I love that you mentioned that. You mentioned before about reading, that you like to read. I know in your post that you like to read. What are some of the habits that you created along the way that it helped you get where you are nowadays?
I think one of the biggest habits I created is a lot of like self-reflection, even if it's like journaling or taking notes in your phone. So if I'm, for example, like after games, I love to reflect and write down like one thing or like two things that went well, one thing that I can improve next time, and then like how am I going to do it? And then I do a lot of journaling, you know, weekly or daily or monthly, just like kind of rehashing like what happened that month, and just asking like, okay, you know, like again, like what went well, like what do I want to change there's this one kind of like reflection where it's like, start, stop, and continue. You know, like, I'm sure you heard this, you guys read a lot of books maybe, so you've heard of this, but it's like, what do I want to start doing, what I want to stop, and what I want to continue. I know it's so simple, but like, it just allows you to kind of reflect and just take inventory, like what's happening. Because some people just like float around life and, you know, mindless and not really, you know, aware of like the changes they want to make, the changes they want to keep. And so just having like little moments like that for reflection have been huge for me, because like I have those chances to like build new habits and stop things and decide like what I want to continue with.
Did you notice like the difference like between you and then maybe teammates that you had in the past that didn't build this mindset? Because like you mentioned self-reflection, and I feel that we are always like talking about that, even to each other, like things that we could do better, trying to, why did you do this way, or even giving criticism to each other. And like, did you notice people that had the talent to be like a successful player and they didn't become for some other reasons, that they didn't have this mindset?
Yeah, I mean, especially like that jump from like college to being a professional athlete in high school to playing in college, you can always look back at those players that are like, man, like what happened? And it always kind of like goes back to mindset. Or, you know, athletes that can, you know, that have like the best like athletic ability, but like their mindset isn't there. And at the highest level, when you're playing professionally or on the national team, it's everyone in the gym has amazing like physical capabilities, but it's the athletes that have like also the mindset to go along with it. Because when you get to Olympics, like what happens when you hit like the first 3 balls out? Like, are you going to still be there for your teammates, or are you just going to start spiraling down and not even be there? You know, like you have to be able to like be that support for yourself in those big moments. And you can see the athletes that are mentally prepared for those moments and, you know, can make a mistake and be like, okay, like we're good, you know. And the athletes that just get consumed by the mistakes and the moment and can't continue. And yeah, that's the biggest difference I've seen, like the athletes that just can't be in those moments and, you know, own it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. And I was gonna ask you, like, you play in so many different places with so many different people. What are like do you think the mindset from people from other countries it changes as well? Like, do you feel like you play in Italy, you play in Brazil, you play in US? What are some of the things that you notice, like in your teammates, that some do and some don't do it?
I mean, every country, yeah, I mean, it's very different. Like, well, something that stood out to me, you know, like Serbians are very serious. You know, they get excited, but they're very like, okay, like I'm gonna do my job, I'm gonna be professional. And then of course you have maybe like Americans that are also like professional athletes, but maybe they want to like make sure like we're showing or smiling more like during bad moments, like, okay, like we can do this. And maybe another country's like, okay, like they believe they can do it, but it's like, you know, like, so you have to kind of like just like learn about the different like, you know, countries. And like obviously each teammate is different and reacts differently. You can't just like generalize all Americans and all Serbians or all, you know, Italians, but you definitely can even get a feeling for a vibe when you see like national teams together. And you know, some more like, you know, more emotional, and some like when things get down, they kind of like, you know, get distance from each other and get angry. So you can definitely like different countries. I don't want to generalize. If we are off the mic, I could tell you more, but yeah.
Is there something specific that you learned from Brazil?
Something specific I learned from Brazil. I mean, I just love the all around like ball control, you know, like my teammates you know, and all Brazilians will probably get angry if you don't take care of like the simple balls. Like, you know, like every athlete has to be able to do everything, you know, like serve, play defense, set. And so it doesn't matter like what position you're in, everyone, you know, you see Gabby like playing with her feet, you know, like they can do everything. So you definitely feel pressure as, you know, a foreigner to be able to play defense and do everything, because like there would definitely be like an eye roll if you're like, you know, like what are you doing? Like you should have been able to do that. So yeah, definitely the pressure to be like an all-around solid player in Brazil.
Yeah, it's fun that you mentioned that, because like when you grow up playing Brazil, it's kind of, if you don't have this ball control, people actually make fun of you. So
Exactly.
you gotta learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel that.
We talk about all these different mindsets, but how do you keep yourself prepared, or how you prepare yourself for a game, how you stay healthy? What are some of the things that you do to keep your mindset in the right place, like before a game or when you are in season and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned so much about myself through these years and kind of like what works and what doesn't. And for me, you know, a few hours leading up to the game when I'm like at home and getting ready, I try to like keep lax, like watch TV or like just distract myself and not get like too serious. And even like before the game, like I'm on my phone and trying to just like stay distracted and just kind of like check in with myself, like what am I feeling? What's going on? Like, am I nervous? And, you know, one thing that our sports psychiatrist kind of spoke with us before the Olympics is like, you know, being nervous is normal. It's when people try to like not be nervous is when they get more nervous and they think something's wrong. And it's just like identifying like, hey, okay, I'm nervous. It's cool. It's normal. Like, here we go. You know, like embrace it and keep moving and know like the work that you put in and everything that you put in is there. And, you know, I like to listen to music like normal athletes do. And I think of things like, what do I need to do before the game? Like maybe it's like the 3 things I need to do. Like, okay, I need to make sure I like block the middle, just have a good serve and, you know, communicate with my teammates, like whatever, it changes every game. And then I also just like visualize based on our game plan, kind of like how I want to execute the blocking plan and attack. And I just visualize myself doing well and executing things well and kind of just playing it over. And I just have like white noise in my headphones. And yeah, that's some of the things I do. I'm sure I do more, but now it's just like so on autopilot that I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah, cool. And then now you started your own business, you know, you're gonna help people, mentoring people. So my question is like, why did you start the journey strength? You have done like a good job from what I saw. And like for us in athletic school, we started this because we were struggling with those things, and we're 100% sure that people also struggle about like mindset and stuff like that. Not only struggle, but they could improve their performance through their mindset. Some athletes like in college, they don't even know, you know, they want to get somewhere else, they want to go professional or whatever, but they don't even know what it takes. So we wanted to kind of, you know, help them through that path. So why did you start that? I saw that like you want to help like especially women, you know, with that's what your bio says. But what are like is your mission? What do you feel like is your mission with that business? And why did you start?
Yeah, so my mission is to help female athletes own their confidence during competition through the power of mindset. And the reason why this is so since I started volleyball so late in my career, I always felt like I was more behind than all the athletes that I was on the court with. And so I had this limiting belief that I was not enough. And I didn't realize this almost like 2 years before the Olympics. Like during one of our competition, I was starting and a coach came up to me and he was like, Rachel, like, why does it look like you don't deserve to be out there? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm fine, like, I'm good. But it really made me reflect like, hey, like, what is going on? I actually don't feel that great. And I really learned about like mindset and taking up space and body language and kind of what's going on in my head to make me feel so small. And I learned all this leading up to Olympics. And I don't believe if I knew all this and if I didn't learn all this, I'd be at the 2016 Olympics. Because after I learned this and I went back to the national team, I just like took up space and I was owning what I wanted to do. And, you know, I'd make a mistake and I'd keep moving. And so my mindset and myself was like the only thing standing in the way. And I didn't want this to be standing in the way of any other female athletes. And I wanted to help them navigate that and wake up the awareness to mindset and the power of mindset, and what they can do to like reach their goals and how they can feel better on the court and navigate all that stuff, especially in high school. So that became my mission, is just to be that for female athletes, what I wish I had, and just like a mentor to help guide them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I think like I said, for us, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people need that, because so many athletes out there and they struggle with that. Also, our last question for you is a question that we always ask our guest speaker. I did send to you, so I hope you are prepared.
Okay.
But is how you measure success, and what is the definition of success to you?
I don't know. I mean, I think the success is liking what you're doing and like how you're doing it. I don't know. It's like definitely I'd have to like go back and think about that. But
do you think winning and like the results, especially for us as athletes, do you think winning is a good way to measure success?
no, I definitely don't, because you can see athletes that like are successful based on that definition and they're not very happy or feeling successful. So I definitely do think it is like liking and being proud of how you're doing things and what you're doing. Yeah, and that way of you're doing it, like in that journey. And yeah, so it's definitely not like the end goal.
Yeah,
I feel that it's kind of the process. I think for sure you know him, but like Bernardinho, his book, he always mentions about like the process, like liking the struggle, like earning everything, and like the result's gonna be a consequence. And if it doesn't come, you gotta have the peace of mind that you did everything you could. And if you didn't do everything you could, for sure it's gonna be more painful, because you're gonna lose that final. I think if I have done that differently, I could have won. But
there's this quote that what I saw in Bernardino's book that says success is the peace of mind, the knowing that you did everything you could, you know. So I think a lot of people relate success with like results. Of course, it's results matter, but I think like Gustavo said, you gotta enjoy the process, but tied to the outcome as well, you know. So
yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, thanks so much for willing to talk to us. Was an awesome conversation. We learned a lot. I hope you can keep passing the message around with your business now. Yeah, and thanks so much. The best of luck for you in the next seasons. And yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
yeah, thank you.